This is BRYAN 2. It's June 1st, 2017. It's 4:30, approximately 4:30 in the morning. Sleep deprivation, severe sleep deprivation, and the altering of sleep cycles continues, especially targeting my inability to get deep R.E.M sleep, causing me to hallucinate and to not be able to concentrate properly and function properly, have no energy, incredibly lethargic. Yesterday, 2 days ago, the Asylum Center here that I went to, I finally found the location, told me come in at 8 o'clock in the morning and file for asylum. I had to do it myself because obviously the Ecuadorian military intelligentsia wasn't going to force the police to do it like they had ordered them to do. So I had to wait till the last second. Now I did it. I went to immigration. The immigration sent me there. But the brutal torture and sleep deprivation torture was so severe yesterday I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't function. It's happening again now. It's all a game. Sleep deprivation is running cycles against the victim. It's one of the most brutal forms of their torture because it immobilizes the victim. It places the victim into a constant state, the victim's brain into a constant state of functional disorientation where the victim can't function properly. He can't concentrate. He can't. Even brushing his teeth is almost an impossible chore. He has no energy. Might also be described as procedural disorientation, but the functional disorientation is so severe from the sleep deprivation torture that the victim can't recognize modification of his active memory and fight back against the system's influences and different reasons why they use it. The victim's brain becomes dependent upon the stream of electromagnetic low-frequency waves. They're targeting the victim's cerebral cortex, but that's why my ears are constantly ringing. My head and ears are in pulsating pain constantly, 24 hours a day. Mild, moderate, or severe. Mild, moderate, or severe, depending upon what they're trying to achieve. So, I haven't been able to sleep all night again. Despite taking the medication the doctors gave me to help me sleep, the Xanax, which they even increased to help me sleep. They won't let me sleep. What they're trying to do is they're trying to force me out of Ecuador before I can file asylum, or turn the torture up so severely that I'm forced to flee the country by withdrawing the asylum request, which if you look back on the videos in the past, it's the same thing they did in Iceland, Switzerland, and Belgium, where I applied for asylum. The torture was so severe in those camps, in those refugee camps, that I was forced to withdraw my application and flee. They wouldn't protect me from the attacks. I've suffered severe acoustic trauma to my ears and damage to my internal organs because of these brutal attacks, and they're continuing. And the sleep deprivation torture is how they immobilize the victim and control the victim. The neuroprogramming, especially the dream modulation, neurolinguistic programming, etc., is dependent upon the victim being placed into a state of functional disorientation where they can use the technology to rewire the memory, alter the memory and thought process of the victim at will. They use sleep deprivation torture, brutally torture the victim with sleep deprivation, to keep the victim in theta state when they need him. That's where the technology is most effective. And then afterwards they increase the intensity of the stream of energy and push the victim back up into alpha beta delta state. But that's artificial. That's just forcing the victim's brain in order to function properly to be dependent upon the stream of fabricated and falsified data which they're targeting the victim with, this stream of electromagnetic low frequency waves specifically tuned to the brainwave signature of the victim. And then they can just drop the victim at a second back into theta state as each remote neural attack happens at speed of light, modifying the active memory of the victim, and the victim is so sleep deprived tortured to near incoherency and in such a severe state of functional disorientation he can't recognize a modification of his active memory or fight back against the system's influences. Again, I have an appointment today. Should have been there yesterday. I'm going back today at 8 o'clock to try to apply for asylum. It's almost 5 in the morning and they won't let me sleep. And this is how the torture works. They're able to dial into the cerebral cortex of the victim like one would dial into a cell phone, another person's cell phone. They can target the victim from thousands of miles away. A computer multiplexer routes the signal to a tower, satellite, or mobile platform, and the tower, satellite, or mobile platform relays the signal to the digital receiver, similar to how cell phone technology works. The digital receiver is tracked and pinpointed in real time, just like a cell phone, because the technology is dependent upon timing and location. But the digital receiver, in the case of CIA trauma-based mind control, is not a phone. It's a human brain. The brain of the victim has been digitalized by the nanotechnology inside of it, which interfaces with the stream of electromagnetic low-frequency waves they're targeting the victim's brain with, allowing them over a period of time, after they've mapped the victim's brain into a cognitive model, to turn the victim's brain into their very own visual, verbal, and auditive communication system. Brutal torture. Brutal torture. And they're doing it to try and stop me from being able to apply for asylum, or to make the torture so severe after I do that I'm not able to stay and remain in Ecuador. BRYAN 2, June 1st, 2017, 4:40 in the morning.